In 1906, this man, a composer named John Philip Sousa, traveled to this place, the United States Capitol, to talk about this technology, what he called the, quote, talking machines. John Philip Sousa was not a fan of the talking machines. This is what he had to say. These talking machines are going to ruin the artistic development of music in this country. When I was a boy, in front of every house in the summer evenings, you would find young people together singing the songs of the day or the old songs. Today you hear these infernal machines going night and day. We will not have a vocal cord left, Sousa said. The vocal cords will be eliminated by a process of evolution, as was the tale of man when he came from the ape. Now it's this picture I want you to focus on for a second. This image of young people together singing the songs of the day and the old songs. This is a picture of culture. Using modern computer terminology, we could call this a read-write culture. It's a culture where people participate in the creation and in the recreation of their culture. In this sense, it's read-write. Sousa's fear was that we would lose this capacity to produce this read-write culture because of these infernal machines. His fear was these machines would take it away, displace it. And in its place, we'd have the opposite of the read-write culture, a read-only culture. A read-only culture where creativity was consumed, but the consumer was never a creator. Culture, in this sense, top-down, where the vocal cords, the millions across society, have been lost. So if you look back at the 20th century, in at least what we call the developed world, it's hard not to conclude that John Philip Sousa was right. Never before in the history of human culture has its creation been as professionalized, never before as concentrated, never before has this peer-to-peer creativity been as effectively displaced, and displaced by these infernal machines. These machines of creativity that defined the 20th century and transformed that culture, at least in my society, from a read-write to a read-only culture. So the 21st century gives us a chance to revive this read-write culture, not by eliminating the read-only culture, but by complementing it. Complementing it with a new read-write practice, encouraged by the internet, but importantly, we should recognize the internet is actually producing many different cultures. And we should understand each. I want to talk about two. There's a read-only culture being produced in the internet, a culture which depends upon massively efficient technologies for enabling any time and anywhere the ability of people to buy and consume culture that's created elsewhere. The poster child for this image of culture is this corporation. Through their iTunes music store for 99 cents, you can buy any song that you want and download it to your iPod and only to your iPod, but you're guaranteed that if you do this in America, at least to be cool. And it's not just music, it's also video, increasingly available across the iPod for $1.99, and it's not just Apple. Others too are experimenting with this way of distributing and selling culture. Amazon It's experimenting with pay-per-page ways of selling books. Ebook companies have always been experimenting with pay-per-read ways of selling books. In all of these cases, these technologists are increasingly perfecting the capacity of the content owner to control how people consume culture. In this sense, the technology is encouraging this read-only internet. But at the same time, on the same wires, there's developing a very different kind of internet, what we could call the read-write internet. This is the internet being produced by companies like these, of course, interested in people consuming culture, but not just in consuming, in creating and in sharing their creativity. So, I have some examples of this culture. There's an explosion of something called anime music videos on the internet. How many people have heard of anime music videos? Great, a large percentage relative to other audiences. Everyone knows what anime are, these Japanese cartoons increasingly sweeping Western culture. Anime music videos are produced when people take these anime cartoons and they re-edit them, setting them to a music track. That's the anime music video. Here's some samples just to make sure we have a sense of this.
I don't want another heartbreak. I don't need another turn to cry. No, I don't want to learn the hard way. Baby, hello, oh no, goodbye. But you got me like a rocket, shooting straight across the sky. It's the way.
Where's another one might be more familiar? So these are creators, right? They are recreators, literally tens of thousands of people in communities across the world engaging in this kind of recreativity, in a remix of the culture that they inherit with new culture that they can produce using this digital technology. And it's not just anime music videos. You've all seen in the context of music this album by the Beatles called the White Album, which inspired this album by Jay-Z called the Black Album, which then inspired this album by DJ Danger Mouse called the Gray Album, that literally synthesizes the tracks of the White Album and Black Album together to produce something gray. Or in the context of ordinary life, in 2004, this film Tarnation made its debut at Cannes, said by the BBC to wow Cannes. This was a film made for $218. Kid took video that he had shot through his whole life, and using an iMac given to him by a friend, he remixed it to produce a film that could wow Cannes and win the 2004 Los Angeles International Film Festival. Or in the context of ordinary culture, I'll give you a remixed trailer.